Welcome to the Material Change Index 2020. I'm Liesl Truscott, and together with Joel Makova, Chairman and Chief Editor at GreenBiz, we're delighted to launch the results of the latest benchmarking cycle and the accompanying insights.
The work being done by the Textile Exchange and its members is part of a larger growing effort among companies to fully understand and address their supply chains, the impacts of the environmental and social impacts, all the way back to the raw materials. This is key to everything that follows as brands and suppliers try to meet and exceed society's growing expectations of companies. GreenBiz has been proud to work with the Textile Exchange as a communications and outreach partner and bring the valuable tools and resources it produces to companies around the world that can put it to use.
So first, a quick recap on the Material Change Index. This index is a key product of our Corporate Fibre Materials Benchmark program. The MCI, which we launched for the first time last year, measures the integration of a company's material strategy into its mainstream business operations. And it covers the transition to a preferred materials portfolio and the progress the company's making towards a circular economy.
This work also represents a model of collaboration and how other sectors of the global economy can work together to do the hard work it takes to advance everyone's sustainability goals. These collaborations enable companies to do together what none of them can do alone, allowing all parties to accelerate the scale, scope, and speed of change.
As Joel mentioned, we launched the first MCI publicly in partnership with GreenBiz last year. And this year's launch is equally, if not even more exciting and satisfying, since it includes a new and improved, highly interactive leaderboard and impact dashboard. And the dashboard is a key tool for us to track industry progress towards transitioning to a preferred materials portfolio and how this transition helps the industry meet important sustainability indicators, including CO2 emission reduction in line with science over the next decisive decade. For this video launch, we decided to shine a light on 5 smaller sized companies that are definitely punching above their weight. I should also point out that some of the larger brands involved have also made incredible strides this year, and many have moved up the leaderboard. We also welcomed 17 new participants this year, which signals the growing importance of this work. So let's now go to meet our guests. We start off with a chat about the importance of materials in sustainability journeys and discovered how this often relates back to a brand's origin story.
Our origins have been in surf. The brand started with designing a wetsuit which kept surfers in the water for longer through warmth and kind of a more technical fabric that you could move in. And that really inspired our sustainability journey. So revisiting what the original founders were thinking about, which was how do we keep surfers in the water for longer? With all the different threats in the ocean now, particularly, climate change, plastic pollution. So for us, we started with recycled polyester, which for our customer, who were families across Australia, they're really concerned with plastic pollution. It's very observable on the beaches here, and it's a kind of a very known threat to the ocean.
When we founded the Kalani Home, we wanted from the beginning to focus 100% on organic and fair trade cotton. There might be some more fibers to come in the portfolio of products in the future. I think buying and using organic and fair trade cotton cover both environmental and social impacts, and that's very important for us. The fact that we work directly with the suppliers and especially directly with the organic cotton farms, we can first guarantee a traceability, but we can also provide a security for the farmers. We provide them a security that we will work with them directly. They know that we are going to pay the right price for organic and fair trade cotton.
As a company, we are using only preferred fibres now. So for cotton, it's organic. For polyester, it's rPET. It was only really when we started self-reporting with textile exchanges, now at CFMB, that we realised that we had a long, long way to go
Kelly Slater, founded the company. He actually left Quicksilver in 2013 to start Out on Own. And he asked two very simple questions, which was, this stuff that has my name and face on it, where is it made and who's making it? And he couldn't get answers to those two simple questions. And he said, you know what, I don't feel comfortable continuing to sell clothing that just has my face on it without answers to those questions. So he left, and that was the impotence for starting, or what we consider to be our origin story of how Kelly created Out on Own. It's imperative that we as a brand, Out on Own, proactively invest in and strategically plan for long-term procurement of our raw materials. We view sustainability as a way to protect people, planet, and longevity based on the impact that 80% of what we're using as raw materials has.
Since 2004, when the company was founded, it was not a very big company, so it was quite easy to find the suppliers in Northeast of Brazil and the rubber tapers, and we had this close relationship with these associations. But then in 2017 and 2018, we had a big challenge. The company grew a lot. The company is growing. We have to spend a lot of time engaging.
And of course, we're keen to know how companies use our benchmark and about the role it serves in their sustainability journey.
The very first corporate benchmark that we looked at had an enormous amount of virgin polyester and cotton. It's quite confronting to see the quantities of fibre that we source. So it really set out some targets for us, and it's actually a really valuable experience for us to be annually reviewing our progress. We have our own internal targets, but the benchmark allows us to be measured in a more public way, but also against an industry standard. It has been pretty motivating to be able to see how other brands are progressing, but also it's been really rewarding to see how quickly we've been able to shift that balance between preferred materials and then conventional materials.
Well, I believe it's a very good tool to see where we are compared to other brands of the same sector, but as well comparing the home textile with the apparel, is to see where we stand in the industry. The very good thing about this benchmark is that it includes the whole industry. You have huge groups, you have big companies, you have SMEs, you have TPEs, so you can really have an overlook of the situation on the market.
As far as the report card goes for Out on Own, we're incredibly proud. We feel like we're a straight A student. We went from, starting out and trying to find out what preferred fibers are that, we finished 2019 where over 95% of what we make is a preferred fiber, which to us is incredible work. I'm always going to push us to do a little better.
I started leading this project. At the beginning, I was like, okay, they ask a lot of information and very detailed stuff, but I think it's very useful for us. I think it's a very good way to have an overview of everything that is going on in the market. It's quite difficult to enter each company website and to understand sometimes information is not very clear. And I think somehow they managed to put everything together in an easy way to understand and compare the performance of all the companies.
We thought it was quite complicated, actually, and we weren't really sure what we were answering. We also sort of had the sense that we would be up there at the top because, we'd been doing organic, we'd been doing things in the way that we thought they should be done for so many years. And actually, when the report came out, we realised that we were not what we thought we were. And it gave us a massive incentive, a kick up the backside, if you like. We're kind of waiting with bated breath to see how have we done, how have all our peers and our friends done in the industry as well. And so it is actually quite exciting and very rewarding when you see your improvement and progress. I think what it does is it gives us a broad stroke view of the industry as a whole. And it also shows us what our part to play is in that. And working with data, it cuts through all the pretty words in one brand CSR reports. It actually gives you real data and information that's measurable.
And since we know this decade is so critical, Let's close by imagining the textile industry in 10 years' time.
I think one of the realities that we're seeing in 10 years' time, and actually probably much sooner than that, is if you're a company, think of your most demanding customer from a sustainability perspective, the one who is requiring you to do so many things and provide so much disclosure and transparency. That will be the norm. That is what everyone will be expecting. And I think companies have to get used to that and understand that disclosure, transparency, accountability, and ethics, and all the rest are no longer options. Those are now table stakes.
I think companies will have to be more transparent. So sustainability report won't be enough. And you really have to show everything that is part of your supply chain. And I think there will be more restrictions on what you claim as well on your website, because right now there's no regulations. Maybe they don't have their ways to evaluate. So I think this will also change a lot in 10 years. I think the consumers are realizing the power they have in buying stuff. And I think this will definitely change, and only sustainable or companies truly sustainable working on the topic will survive.
The paradigm shift that we're trying to get is for people to think about clothing like cars. Like most people, when they buy a car, they're like, look, I'm going to do a 4-year payment plan. And at the end of the 4 years, I'll trade it in. People take better care of their car when they know they're going to trade it in, because they know that they're going to get a higher trade-in value. And if we can get people to think about their clothes that way, like, how do I take care of this shirt so that I can resell it or give it to somebody else to wear so that this shirt can have a second and a third owner? And it's a very different way of thinking about clothing. Our goal at Outerknown is we have a 10-year, 2030 circularity goal. So our aim, our North Star, is to be 100% circular by 2030. And that means that all of the raw materials we use are things that already existed.
I would imagine that what we're doing now, behaving what we call sustainably, will be the norm. It's not normal for conventional cotton to be the norm, or I prefer to call it chemical cotton. And where we'll be 10 years from now is we'll be pushing forward to look for even better fibers, even more sustainable fibers to come out, which will have to also be commercial. So that means that they've got to be fit for purpose at the right quality, they've got to be affordable, and they've got to be available and scalable.
We're very ambitious, and in 10 years' time, we want to see a regenerative circular model where materials have a really positive impact on the ocean and on the earth. We see that as like biocompatible materials that don't accumulate plastics in the ocean. There's a lot of really great textile innovations that we want to make scalable and work to try and improve the overall environmental impact of fashion. And we also want to see textile recycling solutions that are smarter and scalable to change the way that consumers relate to their products and purchase their products, as well as how we make our products.
I believe that it will be more sustainable than today. I mean, we can see already the progress in the last 10 years in the textile industry. So I'm sure that within 10 years, the progress will be even bigger. There will be a lot of innovation, new fibers coming, especially in regenerated fibers and recycling. There is a lot of progress to do still there. And I believe that, all the companies will need to be more sustainable to be competitive. The old-fashioned way of doing the business doesn't have a place in the 21st century.
I don't think the world is going to look all that different in 10 years, but it's going to work very differently. How we house, transport, work, play, shop is going to be changing considerably, as it has over the past 10 years. We're going from the era of fossil fuels into the era of clean energy. We're going from linear supply chains to circular ones. So much will be changing. It'll happen slowly, but when we look back in 10 years, we're going to see a world of change, literally.
So there we have it, words of insight and wisdom from our guest speakers. Sadly, 2020 and COVID-19 will go down in history as a tragedy. but as an awakening too on so many levels. Working with my team and the industry on this program fills me with a sense of contribution and urgency. Our job at Textile Exchange is to make sure the textile and apparel industry is a force for good over the next critical, decisive decade. As ever, it's only through collaboration and gritty determination that we're going to get to the place we need to be. And this leaves me only to thank and congratulate all participants. The results are truly inspiring. They not only give us a calculated insight into progress being made, but they give us hope. It is with no exaggeration that I say all 191 companies that stepped up to join the MCI this year are indeed companies creating material change. So please read the insights, explore the online leaderboard and impacts dashboard, and if you're a company out there wanting to join this important materials journey, we welcome you to our 2021 cycle.